We have with us Brian Kruse, who is the Douglas County Election Commissioner. Brian, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. You've probably heard there's an election.
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Can we just can you throw a little bit of weight around and make the election this Tuesday so I don't have to go through the next few weeks of being bludgeoned with campaign commercials? Can we just move it up?
And text.
You wouldn't hurt my feelings any.
At any rate,
Might hurt your job.
yeah, you might be in a little trouble. Anyway, we asked Commissioner Kruse to be with us today just to kind of make sure that all Grow Omaha listeners are ready for this election coming up. So, yeah, we know we've got the whole presidential thing at our throats, but what else are we dealing with on November 5th?
Sure. This is an unprecedented ballot, really, in Douglas County. You're going to have the president, of course. We've got two senators, a 2-year term senator and a 6-year term senator, because of the way Senator Sass resigned and the appointment was made. You got the congressman, of course. You've got a bunch of other down-ballot candidates as OPPD, natural resource districts. You're going to have judges. And then if you live in the city of Omaha, you will have 15 issues to vote on between the city of Omaha and the state of Nebraska.
Wow.
So, yeah, really the message is be an informed voter.
And those issues on the ballot are the ones that your average voter and, frankly, sometimes Jeff Beals will get to the ballot and really don't know what they are. How do you go about preparing yourself so that you know what you're voting for with all these state and city issues?
The easiest way is to go to our website, votedouglascounty.com. Right up in the left-hand corner, it says find your voting information. If you put a little bit of information in there, it will give you a sample ballot of exactly who and what you will be voting on. So if you like to vote by mail, that's simple. You can sit at your kitchen table once you get the ballot and do your research from there. If you're going to the polling place, we highly recommend you look at this ahead of time, because if you walk in, it's literally going to take you 15 minutes to read all these issues without doing any research. You know, probably the best way to research these issues, for the state ones, you can go to the Secretary of State's website. They have pamphlets on there about them, the pro and the con. For the city ones, you could Google them. The city ones are fairly straightforward. They're mostly bond issues. They're 2 city charter amendments and a good life economic district.
Okay, so we have with us Brian Kruse, Douglas County Election Commissioner. And Brian, for decades, Election Day for me was a ritual, and I always kind of enjoyed it. But then I decided in either 2018 or 2020, I'm doing mail-in. With my schedule, it was just easier just to get it done and all that sort of thing. So how many people are doing mail-in now? Who's still going to the polls? And give us a little overview of what how that works if someone is still trying to decide which method they're going to use this year.
Sure. So in Douglas County, we're about 50-50. 50% of our voters do early voting. 50% will show up at the polling place on Election Day. Ballots begin to be mailed out Monday. So between Monday and Tuesday, we'll mail out about 85,000 ballots in Douglas County.
That's only for people that sent in those cards earlier, correct?
That's right. To get an early voting by mail, you have to request a ballot. So if you got one of our green cards,
Yep.
And you still
I've got
have
my green
it,
card, yeah.
perfect. That's great. If you still have that, fill that out and send it in. If you don't have it, you can go to our website, votedouglascounty.com, go under the envelope icon, and there's a form there that you can use to fill that out.
And that way you can actually get your ballot at home, and it's basically an open book test. You can do your research. You can go to your website. You can read about all the issues.
That's right. That's exactly right. And, you know, that's the number one reason we hear now people like to vote early by mail is so they can study the issues.
But not often, ladies and gentlemen. That's illegal.
Yeah,
That's right.
But I tell you, Brian, that's the biggest reason why I did it was I actually had more time to understand what I was actually voting for, and I was always worried, what if I get called out of town, right before Election Day? I don't want to miss it. But let's do Let's talk about security a little bit. That was a big issue that came up in 2020.
That's right.
Some people are still skeptical about, maybe the safety or integrity of mail-in voting, and we've got these drop boxes. Is it okay
Yes.
to use these drop boxes? What do you have to say about the integrity of elections right now in Douglas County?
I would just say that they are safe, they are secure, they're accurate, and they're fair. Voters should be assured and reassured that there's no issues here. We have numerous checks and balances in place. Our drop boxes are a great tool. We have 13 around the county. All of them have cameras on them now 24/7. We have concrete ballards around them, the drive-up ones. The slot is very narrow so you can only put 1 or 2 envelopes in at a time. And this year we've actually added fire suppression systems to them, dry fire suppression systems.
Wow.
Really?
Inside, yeah. It'd be highly, highly unlikely somebody would try something.
They work, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to test it.
Yeah, please don't test them. On behalf of the Omaha Fire Department and myself, please do not test them.
So let's fast forward to 8:00 p.m. November 5th. And people are anxiously awaiting to see how their candidates did. Tell us what's going to happen, not who's going to win, but what's going to happen after the polls close on Election Day.
Absolutely. So right at 8:00, we release results. The reason we can do that is because state law allows us to count early voting ballots on Monday before the election. We don't look at the results or anything like that until Tuesday evening, right before we put them out to the public. So if you're an early voter, yours is the first voice that will be heard on election night. And then we go 8:45, 9:45, 10:45, 11:45, etc.
And since the polling places are already closed, and you can't. But are there some votes that get counted later?
Yes, that's a great question. So first of all ballots have to be in our possession by 8 p.m. on election night. Postmarks do not count in Nebraska. But yes.
What about military?
Everything. Every ballot has to be in our possession by 8 p.m. We do count some ballots the Friday after the election. Those are early voting ballots that are turned in on election day. So just real quickly here, we do not find ballots. We do not find ballots in car trunks and closets in Douglas
Laundry
County.
baskets.
Laundry baskets. They're all accounted for. But we don't get those in until 8:00 on election night from the drop boxes. If there's 10, 12,000, we have to verify those signatures and do the election integrity process on the Wednesday and Thursday after the election, and then we count those on Friday.
Okay, so we have got to wrap it up, Brian,
Sure.
but really fast. 3,000 election workers.
Yep.
Do you got them all, or do you still need volunteers?
We've got them all for this election, 207 neighborhood polling places, 3,000 election workers. So if you're an election worker and you're listening, thank you. Thank you very much. We couldn't do it without you.
And one more time, the website for the Election Commission?
VoteDouglasCounty.com.
All right, that's Brian Kruse, your Douglas County Election Commissioner. Appreciate you being with us, Brian, and I wish everyone a happy end to the campaign season over the next month.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.